Hey, Satnam.
Hey, everybody. Satnam.
Hey, welcome to the live broadcast this week. Thank you, everyone, for joining us again, and happy day number 17 of the 40-day
It's going fast.
prosperity challenge. And hope everyone's doing great. It's been really inspiring to hear, to read really all of the interaction on the forum. You know, it's been we said from the get-go at the LifeVoice Academy that, you know, this is our sense of what it is, but it has its own energy and its own life. It's its own kind of organism even, and who knows what it will turn into. And even since then, it's, you know, evolved into beyond what we in certain ways it's evolved beyond what we initially conceptualized for it. And part of that is how supportive the community is. Yeah. And, you know, there'll be somebody who's posting something, they're having a hard time, and like before any of us even have a see it, there's like this
that's what I was gonna say.
There's a whole thread of people with not only like supportive energy but really helpful thoughts and ideas.
Yeah, I read we're on the forum pretty often, and I read somebody's post, and I believe it was Anne had written something and in response, and I was gonna say something similar, but Anne said it way better. I was like, that's awesome. You know, right before I was actually getting ready to answer it, and then I started reading the replies, and Anne had written something, and I was like, that's way better than what I would have written. And that's everything that I wanted to say. So I thought that was really cool. And that's what it's all about. So I think that's really awesome.
Yeah, not only is it inspiring to read, but it's also helpful because sometimes we're just not able to get to everything, and we don't need to, because it's like Simrat's saying, sometimes other people have you know, valuable input that we wouldn't be able to give in certain scenarios. And so thank you, everyone, and keep that coming, keep that energy going. It's really enriching to experience it. And so hope everyone's doing
it's awesome.
I hope everyone's doing great with the meditations as well. We're just going to jump right into it today. It's evening here at the time we're broadcasting, Nevada City, Northern California. It's 5 p.m. here, 8 p.m. on the East Coast of the U.S., and who knows where everyone else is and what time it is where you are, and if you're catching the replay or whatever. But we're just going to dive in. We're going to do a couple exercises to get our prana moving and warmed up, and then we're going to do the meditations. And I, for one, am personally really enjoying this sadhana. And it's one thing to do a subtle body kriya for 1 or 2 times, but to do it in a 40-day experience, it's very profound. You know, it's all the things that I'm interested in. This thing works on, in terms of opening the heart, chest, clearing the karmic field, also known as your arc line, because the arc line has 2 primary functions. The arc line is, you can think of it, and hopefully I'm loud enough here. You can think of it as the nucleus of the electromagnetic field. And all living beings are electromagnetic. Even down to the smallest microorganisms are polarized. And the nucleus of the electromagnetic field, or sometimes what we call the aura, is the arc line. And men and women have an arc line that goes from ear to ear. And that's depicted, you'll see in iconography, in both Tibetan iconography and Orthodox Christian iconography, as like a halo. And there's a second arc line that women have, according to the yogic teachings, that goes nipple to nipple across the chest. And there's 2 primary functions of the arc line. The first is it's a protective function. It's like your protective shield. So the stronger the arc line, the greater protective energy that you have, and that's protection against outside the negative of the universe impacting you, but it's also protective from your own subconscious. And I think that's really important. Sometimes when we're like we're protecting, it's protective, but it's not just protective from anything outside as much as it is just like, may I be a vessel for what is real and what is pure and what is love. And may I not be influenced in any substantive way by anything that is unreal and anything that is not love. And that's what we want protection for. So the greater the arc line is, the stronger the projection is. And your projection comes from your presence. And the stronger your electromagnetic field is, the stronger your prayer force is, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You have anything to say about that part? Function number 1 of the arc line?
I think you did a great job of that.
Function number 2 of the arc line is it stores and holds karma. And these two functions are interrelated, because the more karma is there, the weaker the electromagnetic field is. So karma is simply the accumulated residue of previous things. You know, that could be this lifetime or previous lifetimes. And so every action and thought and feeling and desire, it gets accumulated within the matrix of the subconscious mind, which is also interrelated with interrelated is a good word, actually, interrelated with all of previous incarnations. It's beyond the capacity to intellectualize it. So anyhow, the more of that residue of yesterday that is sticking around today, then the more cloudy the mind is. So I think of that in the word in Ayurveda for this is tamas. You don't need to remember all the words, but just see if you can come away with the big idea. And tamas is often, the qualities of tamas is it's sticky, it's inert, and it's dull. And what you're trying to cultivate with yoga practice and yogic lifestyle is sattva, which is clear, light, bright, still. So the more of this karmic residue is there, the more tamas is in the organism, in the mind, and the more dull. So tamas is that which sustains yesterday. So it sustains your old habits, regardless of your better intent. So when the weight of yesterday is overpowering your intent for today, then we keep still running the same old program. You're trying to run on the new operating system, but you're still running Windows from 1984. And so Windows from 1984 doesn't work well in 2018. So this is an upgrading of the operating system, and therefore you have to clear that arc line. So that's why Simra has been emphasizing when we're doing these, that's why she's saying, make sure you go through the chest as well and over the head. So it's like not your hands necessarily through the chest, but you're getting the whole body involved here, because it's and Yogi Bhajan specifically said when he originally taught this meditation, he said it's to clarify your subtle body, and it strengthens your arc line. So it clears the residue from those halos that go across the chest, and then therefore makes you brighter, stronger, with a greater penetrative power and more protective force.
And you just feel more confident. You just feel better in your body. And I know I have, since doing this Kriya, I feel very centered in myself. And yeah, I'm really loving the effects. And it's been awesome. And I've been doing it different times of the day, depending on my schedule. And it's been awesome. It's been really amazing to know that we're all doing it together. And I feel like, for me, I feel like I'm being held by the group energy. And I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way. Sometimes I know you got to like muscle it, and wrestle with it. And then you get in there and then you're finally doing the meditation. Have you ever just sat there for 10 minutes? You get to your meditation spot. You're ready to do the meditation, but then you end up sitting there, you clip your toenails, or you're looking at your fingernails, you look at your phone, and then finally you're like, okay, so we all have done it. and do it. And it's awesome to be holding each other in the space. And yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's spend a few minutes every week, especially now that we're into the kind of the nitty gritty of this. It's day 17. It's not as fun for most people as day 2. Let's spend a few minutes.
Glamorous.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not as glamorous.
Yeah.
Let's spend a few minutes each live broadcast and going more. Today we talked about the arc line. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that in the future one, but because there's more to be said. But let's talk also into the science of the subtle body next week, perhaps, because I think you'll find that it really helps to keep your mind connected to the deeper science of what we're working on. Because then we'll keep our motivation going for why we're doing this. Because when it gets really hard, I need a bigger why. The why of what I'm doing has to be more powerful than the resistance I have to doing it. Or sometimes it's not even resistance, it's just distractions. I've got so much other things going on that I'm not making the time. I'm not making it a priority in my life. So we talk a lot about resistance, but sometimes it's just we're not prioritizing high enough with sadhana. So, which perhaps is a form of resistance. Anyhow, that's good for today. Hope it was helpful. Let's do some yoga. Let's tune in first, and then we'll do a couple exercises. Then we'll do the meditations. Then we'll say Satnam, and then we'll go on with our evenings. I want to teach you something. As yoga teachers, you may not be aware of this if you've never done a teacher training. We come into prayer pose, and this is called Nadi Shodhana Kriya, and it's a way of tuning in. And I consider all of you teachers, regardless of whether you formally teach. You are a teacher if you're holding this energy. So we close our eyes, and as a teacher, we say a mantra before we even tune in. We get Nadi Shodhana Kriya is you close your eyes and you gaze your third eye and you say, I'm not a woman. I'm not a man. I'm not a person. I'm not myself. I'm a teacher. So the third eye is the gaze. And then just silently to yourself, I'm not a woman. I'm not a man. I'm not a person. I'm not myself. I'm a teacher. And then you inhale and you tune in.
Namo Gurudev Namo Namo Gurudev Namo Namo Gurudev Namo. Adgure Namah, Jugadgure Namah, Satgure Namah, Sri Gurudev Namah. Adgure Namah, Jugadgure Namah, Satgure Namah, Sri Gurudev Namah. Adgure Namah, Jugadgure Namah, Satgure Namah, Sri Gurudev Namah.
Okay, Satnam. Here we go. Please come hands, ankles. If you're in a chair, hands are into your lap for spinal flexes. Inhale, exhale. Eyes closed, and bring your attention inward and roll the eyes up and in to the space of the third eye point. And every inhale and every exhale is in the spirit of purifying the tamas, purifying the channels of the mind, purifying the channels of the body, so that clarity prevails, so that the spirit of love and the soul prevails.
Who do you think you are? If you know yourself.
And inhale deep. Suspend the breath, lift the gaze, be still like an empty vessel.
Who do you think you are? Do you know yourself?
Exhale. Hands on your shoulders, fingers front, thumbs back, chest out, chin in. Inhale left, exhale right. Eyes closed. Deep breathing. Open the center channel. Powerful breathing.
We don't know anything. We don't know anything. We don't know anything. Who do you think you are?
20 seconds. Keep up.
Do you know your soul? Do you know it? Do you know your soul?
Into the center. Deepest inhale. Suspend. Lift the gaze.
Do you know your soul?
Exhale. Beautiful. Hands on your knees, chest is lifted.
Do you know your soul?
I did these same exercises early this morning, but now as already, it feels so good to do them again. Even just a day, residue collects. Here we go. So we're going to inhale, shoulders up, exhale, release. Sit, num, sit, num, sit, num, sit, num, sit, num, sit. And you can do double speed if you wish. And inhale, squeeze up. Squeeze out the tension. Exhale. just meditate. We're going to stimulate our immune system. I think this is one of the great mantra recordings. And I know it's Simmer's sitting right here, but I'm not saying that for that reason. To me, there's a few qualities that make a mantra recording magnificent. One is the way it can move the prana. This is a type of recording that can actually pray for you, in the sense that it lifts, if you're receptive to it, lifts the life force. It does a similar thing that we do when we're doing our kriyas, just the music, the way it's chanted, and the spirit and the love inside of it. It speaks for itself. Then it's also the musicianship is there, and the singing is otherworldly, and it's like the complete package. And there's a lot of great mantra recordings we have. Another one is, if you've never listened to Peace Lagoon by Singkar, we were reminded of that when we were at Winter Solstice. We've had that album for years and years and years, and have loved it since we first heard it. But it's just it was recorded on a 4-track recorder in a trailer at a Kundalini Yoga women's camp in the early 70s. And it holds up. And the whole album from start to finish, because there's one Kriya Winter Solstice during the White Tantric Yoga course where we're actually laying down as like a layout. And the Peace Lagoon, Yogi Bhajan had Peace Lagoon, the entire album played during that layout. And it's really a masterpiece. And it's all in English pretty much. And it's the poetry of Nanak primarily. So anyways.
Yeah, it's the way that it's sung too. Yeah, she had a specific, the Singkar had a specific power. She still does through her music, but she had a way of interlocking with the sound so that it's like all that prayers can be answered just with the sound current. And yeah, that's what the nod is. And yeah, that's a beautiful recording.
You can look it up. Peace Lagoon by Singkar. That's spelled S-I-N-G-H, Kar, K-A-U-R. And yep, that's all. Okay, let's do this. Stimulate the immune system. Then we'll do our kriya. So you're going to stick your tongue out. Your eyes are closed. Index finger to thumb. And it's just a panting breath, like a... And stick your tongue out as far as you can and stretch the under part of your tongue. So. Chest out. Stick the tongue out as far as possible, yeah. Give up another 30 seconds. Clean it out. Third eye gaze. Inhale deep. And push the underside of your tongue against the upper palate of your mouth and press it hard. And squeeze the body. Fire out. Inhale. And important, press the underside of your tongue against the roof of your mouth. Press it hard and squeeze the whole body. Exhale. Inhale. Press the underside of your tongue against the roof of your mouth and squeeze out the toxins. Fire out. Beautiful. And taught that Martin Luther King Day class the other day, and that's available now. It was available, and we had a little edit that we had to make, and we had to re-upload it today. And then there was some little tech glitch, and it's should be back up soon if it's not already. But anyways, take that class, and one of the things I was thinking of was how important the music is to all movements. And Yogi Bhajan said that a nation that has its songs will never die. And how would they get through that in the civil rights era, when in the Deep South, when they're put in jails, without those songs, when they're marching and possibly going to get beat to death without singing their freedom songs? And how important is the music to the movement, the yogic movement as well? It's really, really important. Sometimes these songs will just do it for you. Like I can feel down, or I'm not able to draw the energy myself, and I can put on that Guru Ram Das, and it'll do it for me. Pulls us up even when we don't have the energy to pull ourselves up. That's the power of music. Here we go. Are you ready for the first Kriya of the subtle body? Okay, remember, left over right, eyes of the third eye, opened heart, powerful breathing. Purify and strengthen your arc lines. Meditate on how you're purifying and strengthening your auric field. Inhale deep. Stretch up and stretch around. Fire out. Inhale deepest. Drop the shoulder blades. Squeeze the root lock up. Stretch up and stretch around. Fire out. Now full concentration. Stretch the spine. Transform the field. Stretch up. Stretch around. And set yourself for the second meditation. Oh, yeah. Okay, remember your eyes are on the tip of your nose. Eyes are open. on the tip of your nose. Have some water if you wish. You know, some people may want to lay out after these too. You know, it's not necessary. It's not required that you lay out after these 2 meditations. But some people really, if you feel like that might be really good for you, please do so. I mean, we don't do them in the layouts in the live broadcasts after these meditations, but that's definitely something to consider.
Also, if you want to shake your hands and your shoulders and your legs and stuff, that can be really helpful too. And then just make sure that you consolidate the energy, you know, at least before or after you shake.
I want to encourage folks to not think so much of the prosperity in the sense of what is happening in the immediate in terms of fluctuations either up or down of monetary energy. Real prosperity is working on a much more substantive level than that. And it's about bringing that which is you're here, you're born to do, and to make that the resources for that to come to your life. Sometimes things need to be cleared away for that to come to your life. So to get too in a thinking space about it typically is not that serviceful to the process.
Yeah, it's like a slippery slope to do that. So, yeah.
And at the same time, of course, it's natural to want to observe it and see, is this working for me? But that's not really the measuring stick. The measuring stick is over time, am I happier? Am I brighter? You know, and so forth. But a 17-day period isn't a long enough sample size, because when you're doing work to clear the subconscious channels, then sometimes things can feel worse before they get better. And so therefore, we don't expect you to just believe us as like, oh, things are getting worse. That's a good sign. We're not saying that. But what we're saying is access your intuition. And then when you're in a quiet kind of non-emotional space and even best meditative space, then kind of sense with your own intuition, does this resonate with me? Does this process resonate with me? And then go from there, you know. Your intuition is supreme over what anyone else says. Okay. All right, here we go. 11 more minutes and we'll be done within the hour. And then we'll head over to our forum and hang out for a few minutes over there. And let's do this, though. So in this, you can absolutely, you know what is great for? You know, and I won't make this long, but sometimes you have uncertainties in life. We all have uncertainties. We don't know if things are going to go good. We don't know if things are going to go bad. We don't know what's going on with our son or our daughter or our parents, or there's all these uncertainties into life that sometimes just circulate around. Why not say HUD, and just communicate to the infinite that way, and just take those uncertainties and turn them into prayers, because that's what they can be.
Yogi Bhajan gave a teaching on the sound current of HUD. So remember, we're flicking the tip of the tongue at the roof of the mouth, HUD, 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 like that. And he said that when you want to command the universe, you tell the universe what you want, and then you say 3 HUDs from the navel using the tip of the tongue, that sword that we talk about, and you command the universe with the sound. So, I mean, I'm not going to say like, hey, give me a diamond ring, HUD, 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 or something like that. I mean, you could if you want. I don't know what's going to happen for you, but
well, it might work.
What I do is, for instance, when I'm on the airplane, I say, thank you, da 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 da, for bringing us safely and smoothly to South Carolina. HUD, 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 just like that. And usually,
and everybody on the airplane turns around and
like, what is she doing? But I don't do it. I don't do it that loud, but I definitely do it every time I'm on a plane. And I also do it. I met just a quick example. I met an interesting man at this restaurant one night that just came up to us and had some really interesting energy that I didn't resonate with. And his energy was very it was very invasive, and I did not like it at all. It felt sticky.
Leaky.
Yeah, really leaky energy. I felt sticky, and I felt it it's like, yes, I'm strong and I have a bright aura, blah, blah, blah. Like we're all working on this. Yes. But for some reason, this was a rare occasion. I felt some sticky energy. It didn't feel good to me. It felt weird. And when I left to go pick up our son, and when I was in the car, I said, I commanded it. I said, thank you. You will clear this energy. Hudda, 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 like really intense, like 10 times more intense than that. It was like, I like blew that thing out and it was done. You know what I'm saying? It was so good. And that's how we got to be sometimes with energy, with people's energy, with a subconscious or whatever. You got to be a warrior like that. And I remember doing that in the car, the particular energy that this person wanted it to stick. And I had heard that this person was around in this area and was doing that with people. And I felt it that night. And as soon as I did that, and you could pray to Jesus or the universe or Guru Ram Das or whatever. I said, Guru Ram Das, you will take this energy and clear it. Hudda, hudda, hudda. And it was done. And it was done. And I said, thank you. I gave thanks and it was done. It was completely gone. And I think that's the power of sound. Yeah. So just word sound power. It's very, very, very potent and it's magic. So if you treat it like that with the utmost respect and you use the tools, then you can create a lot of effective and immediate change.
Yeah, the example I heard Yogi Bhajan use was literally washing machine. When at the time I heard him give this teaching, he was like, try it. He was very light spirited when he was teaching it. Some mantras he was not light spirited about. He was like, use this with reverence, or there's some mantras that only use it if you're in danger type thing. With this, he was like, yeah, try it. Washing machine. Hud. Say you need a washing machine. Hud. And you don't have the money for it. Hud. You never know. Try it out, and experiment with these things. And at the very least, if you have faith with it and devotional energy with it, which is, I think, is really what makes the magic work.
Yeah.
Then you, at the very least, you're going to transmute anxiousness into a higher form, and it's going to be healthy. And at best, it's going to you're going to end up with a washing machine.
Yeah. So, anyways, it's all about the word sound power. It's all about the navel and harnessing your energy there with all this stuff. So if it's just like, hud, 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 thank you, hud, you got to really mean it. You have to believe it in every cell of your body when you say it, and you have to command it with your sound. And the only way to do that is to have a strong navel energy and to have a sincere heart about it. And you don't have to be like in a gushy heart space, but when you have a sincere heart, then you're a sincere person and your prayer is that much more effective. So
yeah, conviction, because and not to be too long-winded with this, but it's important stuff. How it can get a little messy when you're like praying, so to speak. This isn't prayer. Prayer is almost like you're asking, whereas this is chanting, you're commanding. And so you may be like Diamond, but I'm always very wary and almost rarely ever am that specific with anything like this, because I don't pretend to know what I actually need. And so it's often like, give me what is best, for me and my dharma and my happiness, my family's happiness, etc. Hud, hud, hud. And then sometimes we know crystal clear, yeah, I need a car, man. I can't do this. And but it's just like being mindful. And it's at first, you're kind of testing and you don't have that much conviction at first because you have no experience with anything really working. And so I think that's kind of like, how do you make that paradigm leap? Because once faith moves mountains, and real faith comes from actual experience, not just blind faith. And so you experience this stuff working, that gives you conviction. And then once you have that conviction, then it works even more for you. And so that's why people who are like completely skeptics, a little bit of skepticism is healthy, I think, but complete skepticism is unhealthy because it clinches the channels of intuition. Okay, Waheguru, let's do this. Any more?
Oh, no.
right. Okay, now we're no longer going to finish within the hour, but it's good anyway.
Close enough.
All right, tip of the nose. Power, navel, conviction, faith, devotion. Remember that right thumb goes under the left. Tip of the nose. And take your hands of purples. And project out your prayer. May the long time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on, guide your way on, guide your way on. So now we're going to head over to Facebook onto our forum, and would love to connect with you over there. So
See y'all there.
Yeah, thanks so much.
See you
everyone.
there. Have a great rest of your day, whatever time it is. Lots of love.
Sanam.